Hey everybody, I'm Andy Smith. I'm a 30-year comic book veteran, having worked for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Image Comics, Cross Generation, Ominous Press. You name it, I've probably worked for them. And I do other things art-wise outside of comics in the field of advertising. I've also written some books on drawing comics you might have seen. Drawing American manga superheroes, Drawing Dynamic Comics was my first book. And I also did the handy little How to Draw Superhero sketchbook where all you need is a pencil because you do all the work right inside the book. Enough about that. This is the Book Look series. The Book Look series is where I grab a book off my library. You can see the tons of books I have behind me. And I go through it page by page with you so you can see if it's a book that you might want to buy. I like to know what I want to buy before I buy it, and I feel this is a way to give you some insight into these books. So join me for today's book look. Thanks. Hello everybody, this is Andy Smith, your host with the most, 32-year veteran of the comic book industry, continuing the book look series with another Walter Foster publication from the 50s. This one is Drawing the Figure by Russell Iredell. I'll be honest, don't know much about Russell Iredell, but this book is really about figure drawing. We've got a nice little introduction here from Russell talking about drawing and such and working from life and so on and so forth. Starting off, of course, he's talking about the tools of the trade. Using pastels and charcoals and how to basically create tones and such by using your finger on the charcoals. Staples are loose. This is great. I love this. An architect must know about the framework and material of his building. It will be helpful for you to know something about the bones, muscles, and tissues of the body. Not the Latin names, but the size and function, the weight and texture of what you're drawing. You should know that the large bones are rigid and that they are moved in their sockets by muscular contraction. That's basically what we learned in art school. We learned about the big bones, of course. Wasn't really necessary to go, oh, this is the femur, tibia, fibula, things like that, humerus, radius, ulna. Look at me, I know I could be a doctor. And then, of course, we learned the muscles as well. I believe this book, if I remember properly, or I should say if I remember right, deals mostly with the female figure. Of course, here, when you're working from a life drawing or from a model, there's different ways you would see in old videos and stuff, somebody holding up a pencil to do measurements and such on their paper. That's a good tip to do when you're working from a model. And then we have nice examples of the art by the author, Russell. Here, very nice shading and stuff. Here he's just kind of going into the different types of paper being used and the different texture or the different look of the pastel or charcoal you will get on the paper. Number 7 is actually Bristol board right here. Smooth, which is actually what I use to draw Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. That's right, this video is brought to you by Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. 76 pages of ball-busting barbarian action. Link is in the description below. I'm still working on it to get you guys the best book that I possibly can. Go check it out. Like I said, links are in the description below. You backing the book means you're a producer, executive producer of the book. You're funding the book like a producer funds a movie. And it's because of you guys I'm able to draw this stuff. So thank you very much. I still tell people this, while drawing, think of the body as a series of cylindrical forms or of rounded oblongs. The arms, legs, the neck, even the fingers and toes are in this general form. And when I draw and when I break my drawings down, I draw contour lines like this, like he has here on the figure, so I know how the form is executed in the space. Oh man, this book is coming apart. This is nice when you want to start a drawing. You want to start with a nice loose gesture, just really sweep in with like the side of the pencil and use your whole arm. You know, when you're drawing, you don't want to do this stuff with your wrist. When I draw, I'm basically using my whole arm from the elbow down, you know, to get the nice sweeping motions and such. You know, when you get in for details, that's when, you know, it's more in the wrist and stuff. And you can even tell these are stylized drawings. He was probably looking at a model, but you can tell he's pulling the waist in a little tighter and things. I do like how he's like, let's give her some clothing. I know, a babushka. We'll cover up her hair. Here he gets into some basic lighting. He talks about lighting different shapes, because all these basic shapes you see here, a sphere, a cube, a cylinder, a triangular cylinder, and a rectangular block, all make up the human body. So if you can break the figure down to these basic shapes, then lighting it isn't as difficult as it might seem. And then he's just going into basically talking about legs and the support of a leg in a high heel shoe compared to flat. So you know you're talking about a pinup artist, because pinup artists usually draw women with their toes pointed like this or in heels. So this is a very nice little one talking about composition. Even when you're working with just a single figure, you can think about the composition that you want to get across, even if there's no background to it. You can see here, it's a nice triangular A shape, you know. Nice curved X here, S shape here. So these are all things you want to work out when you're doing your little thumbnails like these before you get to the full-size art. These look like preparatory sketches that the artist did. The composition involved the use of a frame within a frame. I've tried here to make the face the center of interest by framing it in a space formed by the arm. The strong vertical line in the back of the dressing gown helped give stability to the composition. The 3 double lines in ink are added to show you the large movements that gave it the action and design. So, like I said, just thinking about the single figure, you look at the finished piece here, it's got a nice circular thing with the way it has the leg up, the arm, and this arm is framing the face nicely. So when you're even just drawing figures with no background, think about the composition and what you're trying to have the viewer focus on. He's talking about the same type of stuff here with this figure in repose. As you can tell, most of these drawings look like they're all just, I'm assuming black and white. Maybe not. I mean, they could print color back then. Let's see, oil on illustration board 25 by 19.5 with watercolor and pastel. So yes, this was in full color, but this book was printed in black and white. But the nice thing is, by looking at this, one way to tell if your color art works, whether it be coloring over line work like in comic books, or coloring, you know, painting. If you can convert it to grayscale and it holds up, the values and the tones hold up, then you know it works. That's why you see a lot of people, and Adam Hughes really started it, doing gray tone drawings with Copic markers, and then Adam will scan that into Photoshop, and from there he'll you know, through layers and stuff, he'll just add color to the grayscale, and that's it. Because if you have all the tones worked out, you're good to go, and you can just tint color over top. Here's another one kind of showing the steps he used here to get to it. I'm betting there was more between this stage and this stage, which I wish they would show, you know, because as a beginner, you see this to this, you're like, wow, you go from this to this. And it's like, no, there's a little more involved. But what are you going to do? All right, let's move on. Let's see what he says here. He even says, I confess I worked backwards on this one. Don't think I'm clever enough to lay out a drawing of this kind in 2 easy steps without more mistakes. The curtain was an afterthought on illustration board, 19 by 30. First an overall wash and flesh color drawn with Conte pencil and red and black pastel. So he did. So he basically finished the drawing. And he's like, okay, I got to show the steps. Bang, bang. These I really like. I really like seeing just pencil drawings. And the thing here is a page from my sketchbook, India Ink number 290 pen. Now that's cool because a 290 pen point, he's not really showing the flexibility you can get out of it, but a 290 pen point is pretty flexible. I want to say, man, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Stan Drake inked with the 290 pen point when he was doing The Heart of Juliet Jones. So you can really see the nice flexibility you get from it. And I believe Neil Adams used it as well. This was a 19 by 25 drawing. You see the couple stages here. And all of these are from life. Or maybe he took a photo, but he probably had a model sitting for him. Let's see. Talking about simplification and stuff here. Especially on women, you really want to simplify. Less is more when it comes to drawing and rendering the female form. And keep in mind, these Walter Foster books are only about 30 pages long, and they're not meant to be a full-blown instruction book for a beginner. This is definitely something that after you've studied and practice art from other how to draw books, you could get just to pick up little tips and tricks, basically. This is probably the best we get in this book of the stages of drawing, starting with blocking in and basic shapes, refining those shapes. Hopefully this is pretty clear for you guys to see. Refining even more, and then refining more, and then you get to the finish here of the nice rendered art. Oh, look at that. I had no idea that was torn. I should probably tape that. Just some sketches showing a nice reclining pose. Like I said, not a lot of steps in this book. The previous page is the one that has the most of taking you through the steps of a drawing. You know, the rest are basically, hey, let me just show some drawings I did and then kind of explain stuff about them. It's not bad, but, you know, trying to learn, you definitely would want to see more. Oh, damn, that whole page is ripped out. Oh, well. So then we do have, okay, another one here. These are very light. Hopefully they're showing up so you can kind of see them. The rough in stage, blocking in, you know, getting tighter, so on and so forth, to the finished drawing. I wonder if this is literally the same model because the hairstyle and face is like the same throughout. I'm going to guess that it probably was. And just a couple more drawings, no text, just the artist going, hey, look at me, which is fine. Oh, and this book was actually 37 pages. And I think I bought all of these that I've gone through so far. If this is the first of my book looks you're viewing, if you go back a couple weeks, I'm showing these Walter Foster books on drawing the figure from the 50s. Each one is from a different artist and their perspective on drawing and such. I love seeing and reading people's different ways of how they construct and draw figures, because you can learn from everything. And then that's basically it. So this one didn't have a ton, but you know, I got it, like I said, for more of a collectability, but I like sharing this stuff with you guys. How to draw horses. A simple way to learn to draw horses. This is one I'd love to actually see. Also, how to draw children. Children are very tough to draw as well. I might have to go to eBay and start looking around for some of these other ones. So that's this one. Published by Walter Foster, art by Russell Iredell. Next week, I'm really looking forward to this one for you guys, The Nude by Fritz Willis. Fritz Willis is, like, I've never heard of Russell before I got this book. Fritz Willis I heard of before. He was a famous pinup artist from the 50s and such, and this one does get into some painting and stuff as well, and color. So, you know, join me next week for the book look on The Nude by Fritz Willis. I hope you enjoyed this week's book look featuring Drawing the Figure by Russell Iredell, published by Walter Foster. You can still get Walter Foster books, same size, same format and everything. Check them out if you can find them. These didn't cost me that much used. And thanks for joining. Always please check out andysmithart.com. Check out Kor-Drath.com. That's Kor-Drath.com. Link is in the description below. Read the first 11 pages of Kor-Drath. You'll read them. You'll be like, I'm hooked. I got to get this book. And go back it. Go get yourself one. I am over 2/3 of the way through drawing Kor-Drath. It will be coming to you soon. Thank you guys for all your support. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. And sincerely, thank you again. And I will catch you guys next week with the book look of Fritz Willis's The Nude. Until then, bye-bye, everybody.